All right, guys, are you ready for a brand new DC update? Now, I will be back tonight with a review of The Flash, and if they let me do a spoiler review or they specifically say don't, we'll see what happens. If they're loose on it, I will be doing a spoiler review later on for people who want to know more about the film. But I will be back with my spoiler-free review tonight. I will talk about if it makes Zack Snyder's Justice League canon or not. I think they already did in the comic book. I've covered that before, so regardless of what they say, and the fact that he knows how to travel back in time would have to directly come from Zack Snyder's Justice League. But at any rate, I will have that review up. That movie starts in about, we're looking at about 3.5 hours from now, and so my review should be up in about the next 9 hours or so. So look for that review later. Now, I don't have a lot to show you guys today. We are going to talk about a few things, but I first want to acknowledge the death of Ray Stevenson. So I'm going to share my screen here. Now, normally this was going to the Star Wars stuff, but because of I'm not doing another video today, I wanted to talk about it here. So Ray Stevenson just passed away at age 58. He was in, you can see, Punisher Warzone. He was in Rome. And he's actually in the new Ahsoka show. He looks to be playing it looks like it's a Dark Jedi. And so that was him. I didn't know that was him in the trailer. I didn't know who that actor was. But apparently it is Ray Stevenson, and he passed away rather suddenly. They're not saying how at this stage, but I did want to comment on that. All right, so let's look at a couple of things here today. The first thing I have to show you is what they project for the opening of The Flash, and I think this is pretty sad. They said early projections for its domestic opening weekend is somewhere between $115 million to $140 million. That's a pretty big spread, with a total domestic run of $280 million to $375 million. Do you guys all remember what Black Adam made? Yeah, if this makes like that, that's going to be a disaster. And this is according to Box Office Pro. 2016's Batman vs. Superman currently holds DCEU's highest opening weekend with $166 million, and which almost made $1 billion. They're not expecting The Flash to make anywhere near that. Now, for The Flash to actually make money because of the distribution and the advertising, it has to make around $800 million just to even profit because of all of the reshoots, all of the advertising. I mean, they're really heavily advertising Batman now, and so they pumped some money into this to get positive buzz. And if they don't get around near $800 million total, and this does have to include the overseas. Now, the one big thing that this movie has that Black Adam did not is it is going to release over in China, which is usually a huge market for this stuff. Now, this is kind of funny. David Zaslav was booed at the Boston University commencement address just the other day. And a lot of people were saying, pay your writers. They were chanting this, which is freaking awesome. Because he got paid $258 million last year for what? He's bleeding money. He is absolutely bleeding money, and he's not doing a very good job of making the company solvent at this stage, and we're going to see what happens. I do think they are going to be sold off here in the next couple of years. Now, here's the most ridiculous thing I wanted to talk about today, and I didn't do this in a previous video because I didn't want the video to be too long. I don't want to do 20, 30-minute videos for you guys. But James Gunn came out and said, I'm getting barraged with bullshit DC rumors this morning. I'll just reiterate the general rule, not the rule, but the general rule, not to believe anything unless it comes from me or Peter. Yet, the media has all of his information before he reveals it, and Peter hasn't said squat. We haven't heard from Peter at all. But unless it's especially egregious, I'm going to slow down on calling crap out. Sorry, I know, it's one of my favorite traditions. At least he understands that he started this himself. And he said there are 3 reasons for this. Number 1, some people are making up lies to get attention from me or to get clicks, and I don't want to encourage that. Maybe that's something he should have thought about before he started this. 2, I've read 100 rumors this morning. One of them is half true. So I don't want to be used as a way for people to throw nonsense at the wall until something sticks. He said 3, I'm storyboarding Superman Legacy and don't have time. Have a great day. All right. He creates this world, and then he doesn't want to partake in it or deal with it. First of all, let's talk about the storyboarding. There are rumors out there that even though he said he's supporting the writer's strike, he's still doing storyboarding on a script that's only in its first iteration. That doesn't seem to make too much sense. And they really can't move forward with that until he's rewritten it. So people are thinking that he's probably writing even though he's saying he's not writing, which would not be a good look. All right, so there are two minor other things that I want to talk about here. Tomorrow, HBO Max just simply becomes Max, and they don't know if you're just going to switch over to the new app and you're already automatically logged in, or that they'll force you to download the Max app and then you'll have to log in, but you'll use the same credentials that you did for HBO Max. And so that transition is coming tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be the only transition they make over the next year or so. We'll even see if Superman Legacy ever makes it to theaters. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the CW. They have basically announced yesterday that they are shutting down operations, and they're going to have some definitive answers on Thursday of this week. And with that, there are 3 shows they said they're looking at. They're looking at that spinoff from Supernatural. They're looking at Gotham Knights, which I already thought was canceled, and they're looking at Superman and Lois. The only thing they really discussed was that Superman and Lois is a very well-received show, that it wins its slot on the CW, and that it's also super expensive to make, and they do not like the fact, they literally said this, they do not like the fact that they don't have the streaming rights to the first 2 seasons, which are on HBO Max, which is good. I kind of hope everything just moves over to HBO Max. It gives people more of an incentive to subscribe. If you want your platform to thrive, you got to give people content, and that would be good content to move over. I do really like Superman and Lois. It does have high production values, way higher than anything else they've done on the CW, but it's also bringing in the viewers for them. And they're losing a major demographic because the new demographic, I think, are men aged 55 to 65. So the demographic is not CW shows. Now, I'm getting closer to 50, and I still love this stuff. So I don't think in 6 or 7 years that I'm going to turn away from DC stuff. So, well, unless things get really bad, there could be a day where I just hang up everything if they just keep going down the road that they're going down. I'm hoping some good things happen in the future. All right, so there's my recap and news for the day. I will be back later today with my official review for The Flash, so keep an eye on my channel. It will be up as soon as I get back, and we will see you on the next video.